Hi guys, I'm Dave. This is Beer Virtually, and we're back for the day after Christmas to review a Christmas beer. This is Rogue's Santa's Private Reserve 2017. This is a Belgian dark strong ale. Nothing cool with the cap. Very amberish in color. Slight amount of head, easy to pour though.
It pours amber, but it's a very dark beer.
It looks almost like an Oktoberfest. Like in color.
You know, Oktoberfest can range. Typically, Oktoberfest is a beer that's brewed in Germany that's just higher alcohol content.
Oh, I thought it was when they were brewed in September. Isn't Oktoberfest in September in Germany?
Oktoberfest is the celebration of the coming of October. And it is in Therese's Wiesen in Germany because that's where they got married. And
So who got married?
Theresa, the queen and the king of Germany.
So if you hold this up to the light, it's very red. Look how red that is.
Yeah. Oh, amber, red. Definitely poured red.
You smell it, it smells... A little berryish, a little cranberry-ish maybe?
It's cold, so...
Well, it's been sitting out. It's probably about 50 degrees.
I'm cold.
Oh. First sip. Not as much flavor as I expected.
I don't know. It's pretty good.
It's got a hint of like a with the berries in there. It's almost like a hint of like a framboise.
Cherries and raspberries.
So
That's
sweet
the
and
red
bitter.
color, for sure.
You definitely get berry flavors. Like definitely berry coming through.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, there's a tartness in the middle that I think is from the cherries.
It's very smooth and a very short aftertaste. Almost nothing for an aftertaste. Like it kind of just fades away.
Well, it lingers, for me, it lingers on the middle of my tongue, right? So not in the back, down the throat, but right on the top, in the middle of the tongue. You get a kind of an evaporative.
Yeah, I would agree. So this beer is only 7.8%. It's 36 on the IBU scale. So it's definitely on the sweeter side for as far as beers go, I would say. What else? What other flavors you pick up in it? I kind of expected from reading about it. I kind of expected more like allspice kind of flavoring.
Mm-hmm.
It's very drinkable. It's not heavy. I also expected it to be heavier. So this is it's a special release for Rogue for Christmas. Let me see how much this was. This was, I think, $7.99 for the bomber. Yeah, $7.99 for the bomber, which I don't think is too bad.
No.
I picked it up because it had a cool label and it was a it was a limited release and this is quite enjoyable actually. I think I like this almost as much as I like the Canadian Breakfast Stout, almost. Because there's no great expectation with this beer like there was the other
Right?
beer.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny.
Like funny haha or funny strange?
Well, they say Imperial Gnome Yeast.
The gnome yeast.
Well, I mean, it's Belgian yeast because they call it a Belgian dark ale. But they put on there the ingredients.
Brewed using 12 ingredients. Premium 2-row, Munich,
I don't know what
Wireman,
Munich means, but
Munich hops, I'm guessing. Or is it Munich barley? Premium 2-row would be hops.
No, two rows the base grain.
So two row has to do with how much of that grain is used, right?
No, two rows the type of grain.
Oh, okay. Munich, Weyermann Carabelge, Weyermann Munich the third, Weyermann Special, W and Midnight Wheat malts. Those all malts, maybe? Those are all the malts?
Yeah, but it.
Willamette hops, Belgian candy sugar, red raspberry, imperial nonies, free range coastal water. That water is free to do whatever it wants.
But coastal, so it's got salt in it, right?
It can forage on its own. This is very drinkable. Very, very drinkable. It could be, I think if this was a hair sweeter, it would lend itself well to this beer.
I was gonna see if you can catch that on film. The color, how
Let's see what that looks like.
absolutely red it is.
Oh yeah, you can see it a bit.
Yeah. It's fairly carbonated, and I'm curious about the Munich. I mean, because obviously München, Germany, Munich, right?
Look up Munich malt, because those are all
That's what I'm doing. The magic of Munich malt. It's a malt.
This is good. I would get another one of these. How many of these do you drink? You could drink a few of these, right?
So yeah, there's a class of people that love fruit in their beer. There's a class of people that say fruit does not belong in your beer. So to those people, I find it funny that, you know, you can put anything in beer and it still be beer. You can't put anything in wine and still call it wine. You can't put anything in bourbon and call it bourbon, other than its base ingredients, right? So you can do a lot more flavors, a lot more experimentation with beer than you could.
Bourbon just has to be 51% corn.
And if it's bourbon, it has to be in a new oak barrel.
That's also true. And 51% corn.
And they're also trying to make it from Kentucky. You know, like Champagne did with Champagne France.
I don't think they're going to get that one over, because as craft beer becomes more popular, craft liquors become more popular, and there's a number of excellent bourbons outside of Bourbon County.
Yeah. Well, water does have a lot to do with it, like the bagel place, right?
Water does have a lot to do with it, I would say. I would probably say less so. Well, I shouldn't say that, because the example I'm going to give has everything to do with the water. So one of my favorite bourbons is from Breckenridge Distillery, which is linked to Breckenridge Brewery, which has some really, some decent beers. They got that vanilla. What's their famous?
The one with the bridge on the red
bridge. No.
Power of the internet.
Anyway, Breckenridge bourbon. When the bourbon is overproof and it needs to be watered down, they use snow melt, and the snow melt gives it a very minerally flavor that adds a lot of character to the bourbon.
Yeah, the vanilla porter.
Vanilla porter, that's what it is.
Sorry, did I not say vanilla?
Does that have the bridge on it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But the Breckenridge Brewery vanilla porter is probably their most popular beer from that brewery, I'd probably say.
And they do it on nitro now.
Yes, I've had it on nitro, and it's good.
I feel everything's better on nitro.
Not everything.
Everything except for an IPA, because I've had an IPA on nitro.
Oh, I've never had that.
Yeah.
So any of your coffee beers are great on nitro because you get the creaminess that you would already get like in a latte or something. So, or a cappuccino, you get any like a craft coffee drink, you kind of get that translates very well into a nitro beer.
So now, the only thing I taste is cherries. I'm 4 or 5 sips in, right? All I get is the cherries. There's a drier, lingering flavor, right?
I've mentioned this on a few of my other reviews. This beer has an irony taste. There's a hint of like iron, like like it's not like iron. Like if you ever had water from an old pump or something like that, like an old well, and it tastes like iron. There's a hint of that in this beer. That being said, though, I don't really have anything bad to say about this beer.
But again, certain people will love the fact that it has fruit in it. Some people will hate it.
You said all you taste is cherries or raspberries?
Cherries. I don't. Maybe the raspberries is the lingering after flavor because if you eat a raspberry,
You know, and I had cherries and raspberries earlier today.
that's exactly right. You should try an experiment.
Here we go.
And we try a raspberry.
I'm going strawberry.
Or strawberry, that's not it. You gotta try cherry. We'll get some cheese out later.
That was a weird mix. So I love raspberries. And I usually don't, as much as I like them, I usually don't cook with them that often. I usually just eat them raw.
Yeah.
I kind of like picking them apart a little. So the fruit only makes the beer taste more bitter. Doesn't, I don't think, add.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all it tastes now is bitter.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
Right.
Oh, well. Good experiment.
Yeah. All right. Here. You need to hurry up.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this beer.
I am too. More than you, apparently.
Yeah, my nose is really stuffed up from the day. It's very sweet.
So I don't see any sediment in the bottom of the bottle. Sometimes in these bombers, since it's just more beer, there's more to settle out.
Well,
And
being so much, I mean, it's got to be filtered, right? Because
it's
you
not
got to
cloudy.
filter out the.
and it's a little cloudy.
Yeah, but they've got to filter because otherwise you get cherries and all kinds of, broken down bits of organic
Stems and
material.
seeds
Yeah.
and.
They probably use compote rather than actual physical cherries.
Do you think they cook it first, or they cook it in the wort?
That's a good question. I think that they throw it in the aging tank in the
Interesting.
primary.
You think they would pull too much out of it if they get it warm?
Well, I think if you boiled.
Well, think of like cranberry sauce. You boil cranberry sauce until the cranberries pop and the pectin comes out. So it's kind of maybe a different thing, but
Yeah, I think it would get rid of a lot of the flavor.
this is very good. It's very drinkable. It's a great. If you guys see it out somewhere, you should definitely pick it up. I'm not sure how long it's going to be out or how limited the release was. I'm not sure about that.
What'd you get?
Total Wine. For $8 for a bomber, I think this is a way better value than the Canadian Breakfast Stout.
Oh,
Hands
yeah.
down.
Yeah. And how many points on beer out of it?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But I'd give it probably a 3 3/4 on tap. Here, let's see.
It's still really bitter. At the end.
I like it. I'm spot on. Beer Advocate gives it a 3.77 out of 5. I don't see the points, but I said I'd give it a 3 3/4. I like to play this game with the rest of the population to see how close my tastes are to the population's average.
Where your mean is.
So it says it's available in the winter. It didn't say how limited it is.
We haven't seen this yet, babe.
I doubt it's going to be able to be purchased much longer.
Yeah, I probably not.
It's probably popular as a gift, right?
Yeah. Always reading other people's comments too. Pours dark brown with tan foam that settles down. Cherry fruit nose, cola and vanilla notes. I didn't get any cola.
No vanilla.
Or vanilla, yeah. Slight cherry tart to open, then sweetness. Has a cherry cola taste to it. Smooth mouthfeel, some brown sugar flavors. Overall sweet, but a nice beer. I didn't get anywhere near that much sweet.
The bottle says packed in the candy, sugar, cherries, and raspberries, this brew creates a delicious sweet and sour experience.
Well,
That'll give you both a tangy and a smile.
So like Madison doesn't like raspberries because she thinks they're sour.
So I don't get any sour off of this.
I'm not getting a real sour either, but I get maybe a hair of bitter, but not sour.
I love sours. That'd be great if this was a sour.
This would probably be a good sour. How would you make this a sour?
Well, it would be the strain of lactose that you lactose no, that you add into it.
So the lactose would make it sour?
No, it's a strain of yeast that produces the off at, like if you ever get sour beer and you're not meaning to, then you've got a spoiled batch of beer. So that
So you
in
have
order
bad
to
yeast?
make, you have an infection of some nature. There's something else. Lactose bacillus, I think, is what it's called. That's one strand. There's like three different strands of souring. It's not yeast because it's not
A souring component.
Yeah, I mean it definitely eats the
additive.
sugars and gives off these sour flavors. And if
Speaking
you,
of Anna,
if you get an
India.
infection in your tank, it's very hard to get rid of because in a brewery system, you're constantly turning over your tanks, right? So that infection can spread to the hoses, to the fittings, to the O-rings, to the
Wow.
and so like I know with a lot of breweries, they have a whole separate facility that they keep their sours in, like a whole different not facility, but a whole other section of the brewery that they keep it in.
They keep it segregated?
Yeah, they absolutely keep it separate. So with Austin Beer Works, we have it in the original brewery, and nothing goes over to no equipment, nothing goes over to the main.
Wow, it's that like pervasive.
Totally different buildings. Yeah.
So, like a small couple drops of water or something that had this could sour a whole batch of beer?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, along the beer making process, especially in an industrial batch, right? If you don't test along the way and figure out if something's going wrong, then you could load the next batch into that primary or secondary bright tank, right? And that'll go bad. Yeah. And so you won't have one batch; you'll have two batches because the batch you're taking out, you don't know that the batch going in, because the turnover on the tanks, they have to be quick because you got to keep up with demand.
So, ABW has a full lab now, right?
Yes, with 2 full-time employees.
And they're like biologists?
Yeah, one of them went to he went to college. He's a biologist, and they have employees. They have want to brew a batch for. They have a system and a program where anyone who works for the
This
company,
is at ABW we're talking about.
yeah, Austin Beer Works. Anybody who works for the company can get onto the pilot system and make a beer. You have to have a recipe. You have to get in line, all that stuff, and of course you have to know how to use the equipment. So there's someone there with you, but
So it's like a home brew, but in a brewery.
so like Michelle, Michelle, she signed up and didn't have a beer recipe until she went in, and then Mike went and helped her, and the rest of the crew was there and everything, but she made a beer and it turned out pretty good, and it went on the tap, and we drank it at the brewery.
So
it was
it was only available at the brewery.
yes.
So have any of these beers transcended the brewery and gone into production?
Yes.
That's cool. Like
Yes.
what?
So we have our orange, not orange, what the heck is his name? See, you asked me these questions on the spot.
Okay, so another beer that was similar to this that you may have heard of is Duclaw Sweet Baby Jesus.
Oh yeah?
Started out as a homebrew club that met at Duclaw, and they said, okay, you guys all submit your recipes and we'll brew one of them. Now it's their best-selling beer.
Oh really?
Yes. And it started from a homebrew recipe. And supposedly they didn't have a name for it, and the guy tasted it and he's like, Sweet Baby Jesus.
Bloodwork orange.
Okay. So then they made Sweet Baby Java, which I like better than the Sweet Baby Jesus.
Bloodwork orange was.
Oh, that's a cool can.
Yeah. Bloodwork Orange is one of those brews that someone who works at the brewery
Cool can.
came up with a recipe, and it tested really good, and they made it a seasonal. The seasonal sold like gangbusters, so now it's on permanently.
Did that employee get like any piece of it or anything?
I don't know.
So I always find it this is a takeoff from Clockwork Orange, right? The name.
Yeah. If you look at the little logos, they're like bowler hats.
Oh yeah. Look at that. So
I would not.
You wouldn't do another one?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I like it.
I'll do another one. Drink it all myself.
I enjoy it. I don't think it's bad in any way. I like it, and I'm glad we had it. But I would not buy it.
Why wouldn't you buy it?
Because I want it sour now.
Okay.
Maybe normally it's more sour, right? Normally not.
A lot of people
this
said
year
it was
a little bit
sweeter. A lot of people said it was sweeter.
Okay, but I love sour.
Okay, so if this comes out next year, I'm buying it again.
That's good.
Yeah, if this comes out next year, I'd be definitely curious to see to buy it again and review it again and see how. But this is very drinkable. This to me is a. I've been lately enjoying a lot more complexity in my beers, like in triangulation. Oh, I forgot to bring one of those over. I'll bring over triangulation. Like beers like a triangulation that's very complex, or Boulevard the Calling. Have you had that?
I have not.
Oh, that's. If I can find some, I'll bring one over. I think they have it at Total Wine now. But this is good. It's not quite as complex as that, but it still has some intricacies to it with the cherries and the raspberries, and I think I think some people go crazy with these, with all the stuff they. Oh, the terrible good. I think some people go crazy with. Oh yeah, I get hints of cola and cherry cola. I'm not getting any of that. I get.
Well, like we talked before with Eric. Hey Eric, come taste this beer. Come on. So everyone has a different palate. That's the amazing thing about
It is.
any kind of spirit, any kind of beverage with alcohol in it. Like everyone can have a different reaction, and a
Here we
different
go.
experience.
Another taste test.
Yeah.
All right. What is this one?
This is Rogue Santa's Private Reserve 2017. This is a Belgian Strong Dark
I
Ale.
don't like Belgians.
Those people, the whole country.
No.
Those people. You
Belgian
said those
beers. I mean
people.
Belgian beers.
There's the face.
Every time. Every time. But
What do you get? What do
It's a
you?
little sweet. It's not that bitter, actually. It's a sharp upfront taste, but then it smooths out.
It kind of goes away pretty quickly. It doesn't linger too much.
Yeah, and it's not really bitter on your tongue. Although there's some at the back of your tongue. It kind of
Yeah.
hangs out there.
did you taste the cherry?
I did not taste the cherry.
Raspberry?
Maybe there was like a fruity sweetness to it.
Would you buy that beer?
I don't buy beers like that, so
If you saw this guy on a
it's a
bottle,
pretty awesome label though.
right?
That's a pretty good label.
That's why I bought it.
Santa kicking back,
Dude.
feet over a barrel.
I think you bought it because it said reserve on it.
And it was a limited
Listen,
release.
I think it's a good drinkable beer for people who like beers. I mean,
I
I
agree.
just
I
don't
think it's
like
very
tart
drinkable.
beers. It's a very
It's very
drinkable beer. It's a very
So
easy beer.
I bought it because a cool label grabbed my attention. It's from Rogue, which Rogue,
Very high quality, typically.
yeah, Rogue does a good job. It's a seasonal and a limited release. Those are four check boxes got ticked for me.
Yeah. It's worth a try. It's not bad.
It's not
It's better than that bourbon yesterday.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, finish up, Ken. I would totally buy this again.
I'm looking for this.
3 3/4 out of 5. Till next time, guys.
Well, no.
Prost.
Cheers.
Light on